The Titans just had their bye week. We're going to reflect a little bit. What areas of the team are surpassing preseason expectations? What areas of the team are falling short of preseason expectations? We're going to get into all that and more now. This is the Music City Audible. Let's get to it. Oh, welcome everyone to another episode of the Music City Audible podcast presented by Broadway Sports Media in partnership with 440 Sports. I'm Justin Graver. With me, as always, Justin Melo. And Justin, the Titans did not lose this weekend, so we have nothing to be bummed out about. How's life? How's it going?
Life is good. You know, Sunday was a fun off day, I guess, from the Titans, if you will. Got to catch up on a lot of action around the league. Oh, there's a story on me in the Nashville Post. That was kind of cool and fun. Yeah, the Nashville Post did a story on the book, Titans of the South. They did a story on the book. That was cool. I didn't expect them to do that. So spent about an hour on the phone with one of their journalists. It felt weird to not be the one in control. It felt a little weird to be the one getting interviewed. And I'm like, wonder what he's going to say about it. But he was full of good things to say. Really enjoyed that. Shout out to Logan Butts and the Nashville Post, making a guy feel special. You know how to make a guy feel special, doing a story on the book. I thought that was cool to be in the Nashville Post.
You know what I did over the weekend, Justin? I finally watched the Murder of Air McNair documentary on Netflix.
Wow.
And
I watched it the day it came out.
Yeah, so my girlfriend and I, we have been watching Survivor like nonstop. We started with season 4.
Oh, dear Lord.
And this has been a very, very like multi-month long excursion into Survivor.
So are you on the Sam Phelan season yet? The new season?
We are. Yes. No. So yes. So we didn't watch every season, but we watched almost every season. When we got to 22, which is Boston Rob's season, Redemption Island, we just went like from 4 to 22, we skipped around because some of those seasons suck. But from 22 on, we literally watched every single freaking season. So when the Steve McNair documentary came out, we were still watching that. And it's literally like every night that there's not a sport that I'm watching, we watch like 3 to 5 episodes of Survivor in a row. How many
seasons are out?
This is 47 right now that's airing.
Jesus Christ.
So that's...
You said season 22. I thought that sounded pretty recent.
No, that was like 15 years ago. So we never got a chance to watch the McNair. We didn't watch any other form of movie, TV, nothing for months. But we finally caught up last week. We finished 46, and then we watched the first 3 of 47, which is Sam Phelan season that's out right now. And so we're finally caught up on TV. So we're finally like, dang, we have nothing to watch. What should we watch? So we put on the Steve McNair documentary. And
you have nothing to watch. You've missed everything for the last 4 months. You probably have a ton to watch.
Sorry, we have no Survivor to watch, so we have to find something else. So yeah, we watched the Steve McNair documentary, and like my girlfriend she's foreign born. You know, if you listen to this podcast for a while, you know, we went to Switzerland recently to meet her parents and everything. So she has no knowledge of what the 1999 Tennessee Titans were like. And the whole time we're watching, I'm like saying things to give her context because I don't know it's a 59-minute documentary. It's not like a 2-hour show. Like how much detail are they really going to go into? So the whole time I'm saying things to her about the team, about the move from Houston and blah, 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 that then gets addressed like 30 seconds later in the doc. But afterwards I had to pull the book out and show her like just how special the 99 season was. And like, we went to that in the book. It's so useful to have a book like this if you're a diehard Titans fan. So long story about that, just to like further recommend to people out there, you should own this book if you don't. And there is a link to buy it in the description of this podcast.
You didn't have to do that. And just so you listeners know, this wasn't planned. Graver was just a nice guy. But it's funny you say that because for me, like watching the documentary, the most enjoyable part for me was how much they focused on the 99 Titans because I did not expect that. Maybe I should have, but I expected just a full-blown murder doc. You know what I mean? Like a murder documentary. So that was really cool. And for me, being honest, like having just written the book, it made it extra special. I'm like, oh man, like I just wrote about this 99 season. And fun fact for you guys, the 99 season, every chapter in the book, every season, I should say, I think is about between 350 to 500 words, give or take, because that was the space that I had allocated to me. Because if you've got the book, you've seen the layout, you've seen the design. I love the way it came out. When I was writing it, though, I didn't love it so much because I was like, I have 1,300 words on the 99. I actually have 1,300 words on the 99 season. Publisher laughed me out of the room, right? They were like, have you seen the layout? Like, we've got like 400, buddy. So some of that help was like the Music City Miracles like got its own little spread, right? So kind of cutting that out a bit from the 99 season because you flip the page and you've got the spread of the Music City Miracle. That helped. but I had to cut out a lot that just reality of the situation. Like I wrote about the stadium. I wrote about the first preseason game because it was the first home game.
Right.
The first touchdown scored in the stadium. It's like all of that was so special to me. It was one of the biggest challenges I had writing the book, to be honest, was cutting down that 99 season and watching the McNair documentary. It was so cool at the time for me. I mean, awful, obviously, because I hate what happened. And I remember where I was when it happened. I was 19 years old, living in Canada, obviously. Broke my heart. My brother called me from a sports newsroom. My brother works in sports. Called me to tell me Steve McNair had just been shot and killed. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
I actually just went back and listened to the Sports Illustrated doc.
That is
the audio. That's like 9 hours. It's way more in depth.
Great podcast. My old boss at Fox Sports recommended that I listen to that, and that is an outstanding.
Yeah, I did it right after the Netflix doc. A lot of context that you're not going to get in an hour documentary,
and maybe some conspiracy theories that are a little wild, but
a little wild to say the least. I mean, the whole time I was listening, I was like, I don't know, but.
Yeah, so the one thing the doc didn't mention that I told my girlfriend was that the Jags went 14-2 that year, and then lost to the Titans in the playoffs, and the Titans were the only team to beat them and beat them 3 freaking times.
The book mentions that.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, the book mentions it's just a third way. Oh, that was so sweet.
Yes. All right, Justin, enough banter. We are 6 minutes or so into this podcast. Haven't talked really we talked about the Titans, but not the 2024 Titans. So let's get into it. Things that have surpassed our expectations, things that have fallen short of our expectations. I will just kick this off by reading some stats, some basic stats and some advanced stats, courtesy of NFL Pro. The Titans defense is allowing the fewest yards per game in the NFL right now, 243.8. Some of that is a product of playing against Tyler Huntley and Malik Willis, although Malik Willis destroyed them, so I don't know if that's
not
true.
At all,
but playing backup, they played Tyler Huntley was bad. Like the Miami Dolphins offense, one of the worst in the league right now as currently constructed. But part of that is the defense is a lot better than I think I was expecting. Maybe, I don't know how you felt, but we knew they had holes at edge. We knew we had questions at linebacker, even though they had a ton of bodies. The secondary came together so late into training camp that we weren't sure if it was how well it was going to gel and mesh. But not only are they allowing the fewest yards per game, they're allowing the 5th fewest EPA per play of any defense in the league. So to me, when we talk about things that have surpassed our expectations, defense has blown me away with how much better they have been than I thought. I went into this season thinking, man, Brian Callahan, we're hoping he's going to make the Titans offense good, and he's going to need to, because this defense is going to be putting them in situations where they're going to have to pass the ball and they're going to have to score points to keep up with other teams. And that has absolutely not been the case. So number one for me, surpassing expectations. It's not a player. It's not a coach. It's the unit, the defense as a whole.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I think going in, I consistently talked about a lack of depth on that side of the ball. And it's funny that some of our concerns have come true. Like our biggest concern was the edge position, and it has not been good. It's not been good, right? Harold Landry's got 4 sacks. That's near the top of the league. But we've talked about it. We've argued he's not a consistent one-on-one winner. He's only got 10 pressures on the whole year. Like he's not a dominant edge rusher. And the other spots have been very disappointing. Like I would say Arden Key's probably been worse than we expected, and we were already worried. Like he had like 1 pressure in the first 3 games.
Yeah.
Like we were already worried about that spot, and he's been worse. And they're getting nothing from the guys behind him. Absolutely nothing from Jalen Harrell, Caleb Murphy, yada yada. So that spot's not been good. But and Jeffrey Simmons hasn't been good, right?
Jeffrey Simmons was going to be my first. Has not met my expectations going into this year.
Well, stole the words right out of your mouth. I think I can kind of group him into the defense because it's a little surprising that this defense has been as good as it's been without Jeffrey Simmons being very good to date. There's obviously still time for him to fix that. And then a guy like T'Vondre Sweat, maybe he's been as good as we hoped, but we didn't know that he was going to be good, certainly.
He's the highest graded player on the Titans defense through 4 games.
Yeah. He's one of the highest graded interior D linemen in the NFL, period, according to Pro Football Focus.
Wow,
so
I didn't know that.
7th or 8th.
Yeah, I mean,
last I checked.
So you talk about like being as good as we hoped. As good as we hoped he could be in a year or two. Not like out the gate to be this good.
I got to be honest, though. I do want to add some context. I thought he was really good in weeks 1 and 4, kind of disappeared in weeks 2 and 3. So you are still seeing some of that rookie wall, of course, and it's been up and down. Like we're lying. We'd be lying if we said he's been amazing every game. No, he was not very good against the Jets or the Packers, but he was quite good against the Bears, and then he was unbelievably good against the Dolphins. So that's the way it's gone for him so far. But some of the, we thought the secondary would be a strength. I would say it has been.
Yeah.
I think L'Jarius Sneed's been pretty damn good. I know There have been some opportunities placed that haven't been made. He's been good. He's not giving up much. He's not giving up anything really in the passing game. And then we didn't think he'd be this good without Cheeto Awuzie, who's essentially, not really played a whole lot of football this year. We'll see if Jarvis Brownlee can continue playing well in his spot. He's still got 3 games as a starter, at least, presumably, some big ones. Some good passing offenses, right? Regardless of what you think of the Colts, those are some big-bodied weapons, bigger guys than Jarvis Brownlee. And then they've got the Bills and the Lions that Brownlee's presumably going to start against as well. Quandre Diggs has been really good. Amani Hooker has been outstanding. At linebacker, Ernest Jones, hook him, of course. Ernest Jones has been incredible at linebacker. I don't think that's really much of a surprise. And Kenneth Murray, I went back and forth with Rob Greenlaw on this, my good friend Robert Greenlaw. I think Kenneth Murray's been pretty good. I don't think he's been trashed by any stretch of the imagination. He's been at least league average.
Yeah, he's gotten burned on a few plays, but show me a linebacker in this league who isn't Fred Warner, who hasn't been.
And they got good interior D-line depth, by the way, as well. Like Keandre Coburn, he's hurt now, but he's played well. Sebastian Joseph, I dogged the hell out of this signing when they made it.
You're an idiot.
I'm sorry?
You're stupid.
I am stupid. Egg on my face. He's got 2 sacks on the year, tied for second place. He's got 6 pressures, tied for second place on the team. He's only got 108 snaps in 4 games. So what is he playing? 26, 27 snaps per game. He's been damn good. He's been in the backfield a lot. Football Insights, I just wrote a story on it for Music City Miracles. Football Insights, and I tweeted about it. They had a chart, I think, measuring pass rush win rates versus run stop win rates for interior D linemen. I guess seeing how well balanced they are. He's charting in elite territory. He's literally all the way to the right. I don't know a lot about those charts, but I know you want to be all the way to the right and high. And that's where he is next to Cameron Hayward, I think Keanu Benton, Nathan Shepard from the Saints, Sebastian Joseph Day. I got just a shout out to a couple of guys, some of those defenders that are exceeding expectations so far.
Yes. And before we get to the things that have fallen short of expectation, let's remind everyone, if you're listening to this on audio platforms, we appreciate you, but we appreciate you even more if you are watching on YouTube. So if you are watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you're not watching on YouTube, go to youtube.com/@MusicCityAudible podcast and subscribe to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up, and turn on alerts so you get a notification every time we drop a new video. And again, make sure to leave a comment below. What areas of the Titans surpassed your expectations? What areas have they fallen short? Justin and I will hop in those comments and respond to you, interact with you, and get a conversation going. And also, this podcast is brought to you by Sinkers Beverages in East Nashville and Chris Gates Fitness and his online fitness training camp. More about those sponsors in a bit when we get to some sponsored segments. Justin, things that have fallen short of expectation. I think this is a good week to look at this because the Titans themselves are looking at this. They've spent probably last week looking at it and this week making corrections on things that could be better this season. And I think number one that stands out above everything else, broad view, is the offense has been putrid. And I mean putrid. Yeah, they scored over 30 against Miami. Congratulations. You got a late, weird-ass onside punt opportunity that put you at the 10-yard line with 2 minutes left in a game that you had already won by that point, essentially. The Titans on offense, by EPA, the lowest EPA per play of any team in the entire league, the 3rd lowest yards per game of any team in the entire league, and Will Levis, the most turnovers of any player in the league, despite a bye week, them not playing this weekend, still leads the league in turnovers. And one big area that stands out to me, I know they got the ground game going in the second half against Miami. Tony Pollard's success rate was surprisingly low to me. Just eye test wise, I kind of expected that the running game had sort of been carrying the offense a little bit because Will Levis had been struggling to stay upright, the offensive line struggling to protect him, and him struggling to protect the ball. I thought, it's the running game that has been the driving force for these drives that have gone well for the Titans. But if you just look at it as an overall success rate thing, I think he's 4th worst in the league. It's not good. So the entire offense as a whole, you bring in Brian Callahan and you expect we're finally out of 1990s football, ground and pound, exotic smash mouth, Vrabel ball, control the clock and run the ball, et cetera, et cetera. And it sort of looked the same the first 4 games.
I think where you went wrong there, thinking the running game's being a force, and it's going to sound funny, but I'm being honest, you thought there had to be a force. There doesn't have to be, right? They've been that bad on offense. We scored 17 points, I think, in week 1 and week 2, and then 14 points in week 3. That's 75% of the games you've played. There hasn't been a driving force. They're not good on offense. Yes. I will say I don't like that Pollard stat because I think he's been pretty good.
Okay, here we go. I just pulled it up. I just pulled it up because I said it. I was just going off memory and I wanted to be accurate here. He's 26th in the league out of 28 ball carriers with the minimum 50 carry threshold. 26 out of 28 with a 41% success rate on 61 attempts. So that's bad. The other two...
He's also ranking very high, though, I believe, in rushing yards over expected.
I think he
yards
has
after contact.
One of the highest yards after contact per carry numbers. Keep talking. I'm going to look that one up. Keep talking.
Yeah, I think he's doing very well in those two areas. The eye test tells me that Tony Pollard's been good. I have no concerns with Tony Pollard. I'm concerned about the offense. 4th
in yards after contact per attempt, and he actually has more yards after contact per carry, 4.5, than he has yards per carry, 4.0, which means on average, he's gaining 4.5 yards, which means on average, he's gaining 4 yards a carry, and he's being hit in the backfield half a yard behind the line of scrimmage on average. Right. So that's pretty
Exactly.
bad.
So I'm glad I went against you on this one because I think Tony Pollard's been good. I'm buying into that stat more than I am the first couple ones. I think the Titans' offense is struggling in general. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on this. Of course, they're underperforming. It's mainly an execution issue. I still like the design of the offense. I have generally really liked the play calling. I don't like the turnovers. I don't like the pass protection, and I don't like the hesitancy that Will Levis has shown at times where he's coming off reads that he shouldn't be coming off, right? It's like there's been a combination of gun shy, but when he's not gun shy, something disastrous is happening, right? So it's not a good place to be. None of this, I mean, the Tony Pollard stuff I don't agree with, but none of this when it comes to offense per play, EPA per play, yards per game, none of this is surprising because the offense has been bad because they can't protect the quarterback and the quarterback can't stop turning over the football.
Yeah, and just to clarify what success rate means when we talk about Tony Pollard being so poor in success rate, that means there's a certain amount of yards you have to gain on first down, on second down, and on third down for the play to be considered successful. It's all about maintaining efficiency and staying ahead of the sticks and not getting yourself in second and third and longs. So that means I can't remember the exact number. I think it's like 5 yards on 4 or 5 yards on first down, 60% of the remaining yards on second down, and 100%, obviously, you have to get the first down on third down or it's not successful. Right. So something like that, I guess looking back, it's not that surprising that he's so low. But when you think about the fact that he's averaging 4.5 yards per carry after contact, you'd think maybe the success rate would be a little higher. But what's really interesting to me is that before week 1, Brian Callahan was asked, how do they judge the running success and what do they want to get out of the running game? And he said, we just want to be efficient and have a high success rate. And so far, they have not done that at all. So I wonder, we'll see what, if any, changes happen in the run game heading forward. But Justin, I think it's time for us to drink. I know it's like, for you, it's mid-afternoon, early evening, East Coast time. For me, it's just before 2 p.m. Pacific time here on a Monday. So I'm not actually going to be drinking. Sorry, Dad, again. But let's hit I'll Drink to That, brought to you by Sinkers Beverages in East Nashville. And Justin, here's what I'm drinking to right now. The Titans didn't lose this weekend. I said it off the top, but bye week means, the Titans, they've lost 75% of their games, but with a bye week, you can just sit back on a Sunday, throw Red Zone on, put maybe a couple games on your second and third screens, and just enjoy football without the stress. That's what I'm drinking to. What have you got?
Yeah, I think it was almost the perfect day in the AFC South. Not quite, unfortunately. I think it was a good thing that Jacksonville beat Indianapolis. That's why I say that. They get their first win of the year. They're still below the Titans because they're 1-4. Indianapolis falls below 500 to 2-3. Titans got a chance, coming out of this bye to improve to 2-3 and drop the Colts to 2-4. So you'd leapfrog them. Presumably, you'd be second place in the AFC South if you could win on Sunday. So it's a lackluster division. It's too bad the Bills, kept shooting themselves in the foot, couldn't beat the Texans on Sunday. But overall, a half-decent day in the AFC South. Titans are still very much in this thing. I think they'll come out of the bye, feeling good about where they are from a sense of we still control our own destiny.
And Nico Collins might miss a game or two with the hamstring injury he suffered on Sunday, and the Texans offense
haven't been good.
Looked a lot.
By the way. Their margin of victory is shockingly low. In fact, I was alerted this afternoon by an article on the website I'm in charge of now, Titan-sized, that the Titans actually have a higher point differential than the Texans do. That totally stunned me. Didn't expect that at all. Feel free to look that up because it shocked me, but the Titans got a blowout win, but they've also had a blowout loss. I knew the Texans, their first 3 wins, I think they won by a combined 6 or 7 points. I think their 4 wins now, they've won by a combined 10 points in total only.
Wow, that is crazy. All right, so that was I'll Drink to That. Brought to you by Sinkers Beverages, the premier wine, spirits, and beer store in East Nashville. Serving the community since 1985, their knowledgeable staff is proud to help you with large parties, themed events, or finding something unique for a special occasion. From birthday parties to milestone celebrations to everyday moments, Sinkers can help with the right drink for every occasion. And if you head to the sinkersbeverages.com website or check the link in this podcast description, you can join the In Crowd. In-crowd members get access to allocated wines and spirits, exclusive events, early access to barrel releases, and more. Plus, they are on Uber Eats. All right, Justin, we have one more segment to do, and this is our Surging Performer of the Week, or just a Surging Performance. Brought to you by Chris Gates Fitness and his online fitness membership called Training Camp. Justin, do you have a surging performance? For me, I'll just get this out of the way quickly since we already talked about it at length, but it's the defense as a whole being the best defense in the NFL right now by yards per game. Third best or fourth best, whatever I said, by EPA per play. This defense is outstanding, and to me, the fact that they came to play last week when they needed to have a dominant performance against a backup quarterback, they went out and they did exactly what we expected them to. They are my surging performer for this week.
Yeah, I'm going with Tajay Spears. Sophomore running back. He's my surging performer. The numbers aren't terrific, but a season high amount of carries against the Dolphins. I believe it was 15 carries for 39 yards. Did have his first rushing touchdown of the season. It was a beautiful play designed by Brian Callahan down there in the red zone. You're going up against a Colts defense this Sunday. That's the second worst run D in the NFL. They got torched by Jacksonville on Sunday. Tank Bigsby, they couldn't stop him. Sophomore guy had 2 touchdowns. I thought ETN had a couple of positive moments, both as a runner and receiver as well. Brian Callahan's talked about getting Tajay Spears more involved in the offense. You saw that in Miami a bit. Again, season high, 15 carries, his first rushing touchdown of the year. You've got to keep that going this week against the Colts, right? You've got a quarterback coming off a shoulder injury, one that's putting the football in harm's way, a pass protection that's not doing a great job protecting the quarterback on traditional dropbacks. You've got to get the running game going, and that's how you get this offense on track right now, right? You're protecting all parties involved. Your quarterback, your offensive line, your EPA that we talked about will improve your success rate, all that good stuff. They want to get Tajay Spears more involved. We saw that a bit against Miami. It's got to continue against the Colts in one of the worst run Ds in the NFL.
One of the worst defenses overall. The Colts were also one of the worst teams against deep passes, and you saw Brian Thomas Jr. run wide open for an 85-yard touchdown in that game. Then Tank Bigsby running 65 yards for a touchdown, stiff-arming the shit out of Colts defenders. This defense is struggling a lot right now. One thing on the Tajay Spears note there, I felt kind of like this watching it live, real time, so I wanted to go back and look at the box score and the play-by-play and see if this tracked with what I saw. Felt like the Titans really struggled to run the ball. First 2 drives with Tony Pollard. Tajay Spears didn't play on the first 2 drives. He comes out, gets the first carry on the first play of the third drive, takes it for 7 yards. That drive ends in a field goal. So the Tony Pollard side of things, the first 4 rush attempts of this game were Tony Pollard for 3 yards, Tony Pollard for -2 yards, Tony Pollard for 1 yard, and Tony Pollard for 1 yard. So 4 very unsuccessful carries. That goes to the success rate stat we've been talking about. Tajay Spears comes in first play of the third drive, 7-yard run, sets up a 2nd and 3. Titans get down into field goal range. He kind of sparked the run game. And I know Tony Pollard had the big run later on, and he also had the big run that was called back for a hold, but it felt like getting Tajay Spears and this tandem of backs that they say are so interchangeable. I really do feel like they're similar in a lot of ways, but they're also different. Their running styles are different. Tajay Spears is a very one cut and he explodes. He's really quick through. And Tony Pollard is a little more patient, which can be good or bad. On the touchdown run, it was good. Or the long run, it was good. Being patient, waiting for Nick Westbrook-Akine to come in front. And sometimes you just need to get upfield as fast as you can. I feel like that's what Tajay Spears brought. And it causes the defense to maybe hesitate a little because they have to approach the backs in different ways. So I agree with your surging performer there being Tajay Spears.
Absolutely. Yeah, looking forward to him getting more involved on Sunday. Good opportunity for him.
Surging Performance is brought to you by Chris Gates Fitness and his online fitness training camp. Chris is an online fitness coach. He's a massive football fan, and he's created a fitness community designed specifically for football fans just like us and all of you out there. If you're ready to elevate your health and fitness goals and do it with a group of like-minded people looking to support and encourage each other, you have to check this out. If you think I'm exaggerating, at least check it out for yourself and see, because I could not believe how much you get for becoming a member of this online training camp. It has customized monthly workout programs that help you build muscle, burn fat, and just feel more athletic. Plus, you get access to live Q&As with Chris, exclusive community support, and many more aspects of this training camp will help hold you accountable as you work towards your goals. And that's always been my biggest challenge, Justin, is I'll get a couple weeks into a fitness program and my motivation just like totally wanes. You know how many times I've done P90X and just done like P30X and then I'm like, I'm done with this. That does not happen with online fitness training camp because of the community. The community shows up to support each other. They hold you accountable. They make sure you're continuing to do your workouts, and they make it fun with monthly fitness challenges for the community. That gives you that competitive desire to just like keep working out because you want to win these prizes. And Chris gives out, home gym equipment, supplements, free one-on-one coaching calls, and more. So if you join this week and you use the code Audible, as in Audible, Audible, like the name of this podcast, Music City Audible, you will get up to 80% off your first month, which means it's just $10 for a month to try this out. It's a great way to see if this program works for you. I mean, I know it will, but sometimes you have to see for yourself. So try it for a month for $10. You get 80% off. Visit chrisgatesfitness.com/training camp or click the link in this podcast description and start your journey today. And remember to use the code Audible for 80% off your first month.
And I do feel like if Chris Gates has a competition for who can watch the most Survivor in like a 3-month span, I mean, you're going to blow that out of the water. Like you're finishing first place.
And I am competitive. So, Justin, anything else to add about the Titans bye week here? I mean, are you expecting to see any massive changes coming out of the bye, or is this going to be sort of more of the same, but protect the ball better?
I mean, I can see them trying to run the football a bit more and kind of taking the pressure off Levis and the offensive line. But again, you've got to have leads to do that, and you've got to run it efficiently and success rate and all that. So I do think they'll make a conscious effort to try to run the football more than, Brian Callahan said at one point, sometimes you learn about your identity and it's not what you think it's going to be. I think there was a good chance he was referring to we're going to be more of a run-based offense than a passing-based offense right now. I think that's one of the things that I'm looking forward. But ultimately, the players have to execute. Will Levis has to be the guy they think he is. Guys like NPF and Peter Skoronski and Dylan Raditz got to take those steps forward that they think they're capable of taking for this team to really go anywhere this season.
Yeah. Some very quick updates that came out of Monday's press conference, just because we're here, we're podcasting, we might as well hit them. Jeffrey Simmons' elbow. Brian Callahan said it was the kind of thing where if he got 2 weeks to heal versus 1 week, they think it gives him a lot better chance to get back on the field and be effective quickly, which is why they held him out of the Miami game. So all signs are pointing to Simmons returning on Sunday against the Colts. Same thing with Will Levis' shoulder AC sprain. Brian Callahan said we got to see how he progresses this week, but he basically said the only way Levis doesn't play is if it's really affecting his ability to perform at a high level. If that injury is affecting that, then they might consider holding him out, but they don't expect that to be the case. But again, he said we'll have to see how he progresses throughout the week. So things looking good on the injury front there. And the last thing Brian Callahan said that was interesting to me is that the right tackle position is a week-to-week thing. So he mentioned NPF there needing to step up. This is a weird way to handle a position, but when you simply don't have an answer, maybe that is the best way to do it. I don't know. The right tackle is mystifying to me. NPF, week to week. Maybe it'll be Jalen Duncan. Maybe not. Jalen Duncan didn't play last week, by the way, because apparently on Friday he was like too injured to go through the full practice. And Brian Callahan said that in the postgame presser. It was like he wasn't on the injury report. So that's just a weird situation. Anyway, the whole right tackle thing has me miffed out. Any final comments, or should I close it?
No, you can go ahead and close it out. We'll be back later this week with very soon, actually, with an episode previewing the Colts game.
Exactly. So thanks to everyone for listening. Thanks even more if you're watching. Thanks to our sponsors, Sinkers Beverages in East Nashville, Chris Gates Fitness and his online fitness training camp. And thanks to all of you for dropping comments below. We need those comments. Comment. And yes, as Justin said, we'll be back later this week to preview Titans Colts with a very special guest. So until then, you all stay safe out there and tighten up.
A Broadway sports media production.